Okay, as we go through this presentation, have our usual disclaimer on forward-looking statements. As Evan mentioned, the focus of the last 2 years since we acquired the Nitschel project has really been about building the foundations to deliver on our vision. And the vision for Vital is about guaranteeing feedstock to the global rare earth supply chain. This is what we see is going to be critical in critical mineral strategy over the coming 5 to 10 years. In summary, for Nitschel, we currently have the rights to 3 world-class rare earth projects. We have the Nitschel project up in the Northwest Territories in Canada. We have the Kapoa project in Quebec, and we also have the Wigu Hill project in Tanzania. All 3 projects meet key requirements that we have on what determines a world-class project. We're also working towards being the first rare earth company with the ability to supply both light and heavy rare earths. To guarantee the feedstock for the rare earth supply chain, this is going to be critical. It's no point just being able to provide just lights or just heavies. You need to be able to provide customers with their complete requirements. We're also supporting a non-China supply chain. We have a binding offtake agreement with Retech up in Europe, and then in North America, we have signed an MOU with Ucore Rare Metals. This meets the requirements to deliver product into the 2 main markets outside of China. We also have extensive Canadian government support through a funding agreement with the Canada North Economic Development Agency for the sorting operation. And obviously in the last 12 months, we've also commenced our operations up at Nitschel, which as Evan mentioned, to achieve that within 2 years of finalising the acquisition of the project really is, I believe, an outstanding achievement. And I'd like to thank and congratulate our staff. They have worked in an incredibly challenging environment, particularly the team up in Canada, where we haven't been able to travel. And so they've been really, the delivery of that project has been nothing short of outstanding. From a company perspective, we currently have a little over 4 billion shares on issue with a market cap of about $250 million. The approach which Vital is taking is we're applying a 3-stage approach, and this really is important. The initial stage is really about building the foundations of the business, and you would have heard Evan mention that earlier, and we'll keep repeating ourselves on that. The North T operation is all about building the foundations. That means that we're demonstrating the ability to, 1, develop projects, 2 is produce products at specification, and 3 is to be able to confirm to our customers that we provide a secure supply of rare earths. It's no point trying to be too big too early until you have these foundations in place. Once we complete this process, we will then look at our expansion plans. And that comes through up at Nitschel at Tardif and also through Wigu Hill. Both of these projects provide the opportunity for significant expansion. Nitschel itself has over 1 million tonnes of contained rare earths within our defined resource. That provides an incredible opportunity for growth and to be able to provide that guaranteed feedstock. And lastly, after building the scale, we'll then be able to turn our attentions to providing a full suite of rare earths. And that's through producing commercial quantities of heavy rare earths. Now, one thing we haven't made a big deal of with this is that at North T, underneath our bastnäsite zone, we actually have a xenotime zone. This is something which has been reported from a resource perspective. And then we also have the rights to the Kapoa project. What we'll see in the coming year is more attention brought to these 2 projects and to define what these projects might look like. But these projects provide the opportunity for Vital to deliver commercial quantities of heavy rare earths, and that would make us the first company to do so, as well as providing significant quantities of lights. As Evan mentioned, the last year for Vital has been transformational. We've executed our offtake agreement with Retech. Mining operations, our first mining campaign up at Netchalacho has been completed. We've also commenced the construction of the extraction plant in Saskatoon, and we have also signed an MOU with Ucore which will see us enter the US market. All of these things place Vital in a unique position. We are Canada's first rare earth mine. We will be the second, well, we are the second North American rare earth mine. We will actually be the first North American company to produce a rare earth carbonate directly from the mine within the next year. And this really is an incredible achievement to think that 2 years ago, Vital made that transition into the rare earth space. I'd just like to go into a little bit of detail now about what has happened and to show you some vision of the Netchalacho project. As mentioned, we commenced mining operations in April this year, and first product has been shipped from the site. Hopefully I can get this to work. So we have a little video here which really shows what we have up at Netchalacho. So the first campaign, this is only a nice small little pit, but the first campaign has now been completed. Even from this video, you can see that the waste there is the quartz product, and the ore is the red material, which you'll be able to see. From the site or from the mine, material goes straight up to that processing, where we had a crusher on site, and then we have our ore sorter. Material, you can see there, stockpile is into low, medium and high grade ore and crushed material. The sorter itself takes the material and utilises a X-ray sorter and to separate it. One thing I'll just show you here, this we made mention, and I'll just pause this. Previously we made mention of the fact that during the mining activities, we discovered a section of the pit wall which contained a very high grade area of rare earths. That little blast which you saw is actually of that area. And even from this vision, you can see the different colours, which are the difference between the red in the bastnasite and the rare earths and the white of the waste. A significant portion of this material has actually been direct bagged and sent down at such high grade. Because of that, we actually made the decision that we would pull up the mining campaign and cease the mining campaign a little bit earlier. And we're now undergoing a review of the mine plan to ensure that we actually pick up all of that product. So this here provides, it's really exciting to see that product and the grade of the material which we have in the wall there and in the pit. From the ore sorter itself, what you'll see is the product goes up the conveyor, passes through an X-ray tube, and then compressed air is used to separate out the rare earths from the quartz. And it really is as simple as that. What you'll see there is just the material flying out is the rare earths. There goes the waste stream. And there goes the rare earths. And it is literally that process which we use to produce our beneficiated product, which is then bagged and sent down to Saskatoon. And that really, being able to have our production simply use that process really makes us unique in the rare earth space. There's no other project which produces such a high-grade concentrated product from such a simple operation. And what's important about that is that operation provides us with, from a ESG perspective, an incredible opportunity. One of the things that we're incredibly proud of at the operation up at Netchalacho is the extent of community support which we have had from the local communities. That's not just from a relationship perspective, but as Evan mentioned, our mining campaign was completed by Dayton Show-Nahani, a local Indigenous company. Over 70% of our employees are Indigenous. The vast majority of our employees, and not just low skilled, but what's probably even, I thought I had it here, what's probably even more, something even more proud of is the fact that all of our ore sorter operators are all locally trained Indigenous. And that's something which is really unique. From a procurement perspective, over 85% of our contracts have been with Indigenous related companies or Indigenous companies, with over 90% in the north. And this really puts us in at a different level in terms of working within our local communities. As mentioned, we are also in supporting the North T operation. We're currently building our Saskatoon plant. All of our equipment, major equipment, has been ordered. As Evan mentioned earlier, the vast majority of this equipment has been oversized to enable the doubling of capacity. So once we commission the plant, we will then be able to very simply double capacity of that plant. We have our two offtake agreements, binding offtake agreement with Retec and the MOU with Ucore. Those agreements, as you can see, build in the ability for substantial growth over the coming years. And this is something which we are now working our development plans around to expand our operations, particularly initially at Nicholacho, to be able to supply these contracts. As mentioned, the North T project really does build the foundations of the business. What happens next is the growth. And this is where you will see over the coming period a lot more focus on these growth projects. Mentioned before, Nicholacho itself contains over 1 million tonnes of rare earths. There is significant or sufficient product there for us to grow enormously and to provide a lifetime of product. So our work programs now will be built around defining this project, defining what that's going to look like, and then commence the implementation of that. We're also working then on providing the ability to produce heavy rare earths. This will come through, and we will see over the coming 12 months. Initial focus now starting to move towards the North T Xenotime project, as well as defining what the Kapoa project might be able to look like as well. But this really does provide a differentiator for us. To be a North American supplier of both light and heavy rare earths does put us in a very unique strategic position. As I mentioned, plans for the coming year. The first thing is commissioning the Saskatoon plant with first deliveries of rare earth carbonate going out to customers. We'll continue processing material up at Nicholacho, and we'll also complete our stage 2 mine plan for our expanded operation of the Tardif zone. And this will give definition around the scale of what that growth is going to look like. We're also working to sign the definitive offtake agreement with Ucore, and then defining the heavy rare earth development plan. And so we have achieved a lot over the last 2 years, and I think you can see that with what we have coming up, the plans for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years are just as exciting, and I think we will see them being just as transformational as the last 2 years have been. I'd like to thank all shareholders for your support over this time, and we look forward to working with you again in the future. Thank you very much.